since the age of 6, I wanted to become an attorney because I wanted to wear a bow tie, even though I never ended up wearing a bow tie.
Yeah, where's your bow tie today?
I don't even know how to tie one. I have one.
Okay.
I got it at a wedding when I was a best man.
Yeah.
But I don't even know how to tie a bow tie, unfortunately. But I have one. So that dream never lived out. But I did become an attorney, regardless.
Hey guys, and welcome back to the Enjoy Loudoun podcast. I'm here with my guest, Eric Demetriades, and he is the Loudoun lawyer. I'm so excited. In this podcast, we get to interview awesome people so that the people of Loudoun can meet the residents of Loudoun who make up this community that we love so much. So without any further ado, let's jump in. We're going to hear your story, hear about your business, your family, and all the things that you enjoy about Loudoun County. So I always like to start way back at the beginning. Tell us a little bit about you growing up. Where were you born? What was your family like? Anything you want to share about your childhood?
Absolutely, Ryan. So I was born in Athens, Greece. My parents met in Boston. My mom was at BU. My dad and all of his brothers and sister all lived in Boston. And they met there, got married there, Medford, right outside of Boston. And then my dad got a job with the Greek government, moved over there, had my sister, and then had me a year later. So I'm very close with my sister, Leslie. Eventually, after 2 years, they moved back to the United States. I grew up in South Florida. Went to Florida State for undergrad and master's, ended up at the University of Richmond for law school, and then ended up here in Loudoun County. My family's great. They've always been there for me, always supportive. My sister had gone on to direct Hallmark Movies, and she's still doing that today. And did some acting earlier in her career, but it's been very successful and has 2 beautiful kids, Harlow and Cade, 3 and 1. And then I eventually moved to Loudoun County. I've been working in Loudoun County since 2008. I worked with Bibberai and Snow initially. Miss Bibberai is now the Commonwealth Attorney, and Mr. Snow is now the General District Court Judge. Then started my own firm with Lindsay Hendricks, and eventually joined the Laurel Brigade Law Group back in 2015. Or was it 16? I think it was 15. So 7 years. The partnership originally was comprised of me, Rhonda Pace, Dan Travestino, Christine Mojambol, Jennifer Wexton, Lindsay Hendricks, and Tom Rock. And now today, it's got a new iteration. Basically, Dan Travestino is still there, who has been practicing in Loudoun County for over 40 years. Rhonda Pace, who's been practicing for over 30 years here in Loudoun County. Christine Mojambol, over 30 years here in Loudoun County. They used to all be partners with Joe Rinauer before he passed away.
Okay.
Go ahead.
Oh, no, yeah. Before we get there, and there's a lot of names in there I'm familiar with. So it's
I'm certain you are.
esteemed group of people. What about, so as a kid, your parents were very supportive, and were there any accomplishments that you remember at an early age that kind of like stick out to you?
Accomplishments. Well, since the age of 6, I wanted to become an attorney because I wanted to wear a bow tie, even though I never ended up wearing a bow tie.
Yeah, where's your bow tie today?
I don't even know how to tie one. I have one.
Okay.
I got it at a wedding when I was a best man.
Yeah.
But I don't even know how to tie a bow tie, unfortunately. But I have one. So that dream never lived out. But I did become an attorney, regardless. Accomplishments growing up, I played every sport basically growing up. My dad used to coach me in soccer my entire life, basically till high school. And then I did debate, went to nationals a few times, won some competitions in Florida. So growing up, I did that and played a lot of golf because I grew up in South Florida. So.
Oh, very nice. Yeah. All right. So having your father be a coach, how do you think that impacted your life?
I think it was great. I mean, I got it taught you to be able to differentiate between a parent and a coach. Like, when your dad is a coach, it can't just be like, hey, Dad. No, you got to call him a coach.
Yeah.
Right. So recently I've been coaching my son's team, and that's one thing like I try to instill in him and like was very passionate about with him is like, hey, when we're out there, I'm Coach D, because not everyone can say Demetriades, but I'm Coach D, and I'm not your dad, right?
Yep.
And then like so, first couple practices, like he wouldn't even say anything about Coach D, and then eventually like we start leaving practice, he goes, guys, do you know that he's my dad? I'm like, James, you have one job. You have one job. Don't say that.
Don't say that. Come on. That's fun. No, I coach my kids basketball, and
Nice.
it's a blast. So it's so much fun. We're kind of in between seasons right now, and I was just tucking my daughter into bed, and it's like I feel like I haven't seen her kind of in a while, because when you're coaching her, you see them multiple times a week on the court or on the field, and you're getting that connection for hours at a time.
Right.
And when you take that away, it's like they get lost to their bedroom or their homework, whatever else. So it's like really special to be able to spend that extra time intentionally with them.
Right.
That if you don't do that, that time sort of slips away, or I don't know, you can't.
How old are
find
your
it.
kids?
So 16, 13, 10, and 8.
Wow. All right.
Yeah, 4.
There you go. That's
a lot.
That's not a ton.
How about yours?
They're currently 9 and soon to be 7. Madison is 9 years old, and James is turning 7 next weekend.
Okay, so we've got our I call them the littles, the bigs and the littles. So our littles are kind of the same age. Before we go on to this, I don't want to miss this. Your sister makes Hallmark movies.
Correct.
So my dad loves Hallmark movies, like watches every single one of them probably, and so he may have seen one of the ones that your sister had a hand in.
Two Turtle Doves. It's a Christmas Hallmark movie, obviously. She's done like several Christmas Hallmark movies. Recently, she's been producing them. But Two Turtle Doves was actually written by my mom and my sister.
No way.
And my brother-in-law, Ian. So that was pretty cool. They not only wrote it, but she got to direct it too. So.
Oh my goodness. Okay.
Yeah.
Well, that's definitely going to be on the Netflix watch list. All right. So what does life look like now? You're an attorney. You got kids too.
I have kids. I have 2 kids, and I've got my fur baby Samantha. So,
What kind of dog?
Golden Retriever.
Oh, the best kind.
That's right. I mean, I grew up with Golden Retriever. I had a Golden Retriever previously. He passed away back in December 2019, right before
sorry.
COVID, and then COVID hit. And
That's just brutal.
A few months in, I was like, "This is the perfect time to get a puppy." So we got
puppy.
Samantha. That's right.
That's awesome. Oh man, entering into COVID and having your dog best friend die. That's
Yeah.
just brutal. That's a double whammy.
It was tough.
All right, so you're an attorney. Tell us a little bit about what kind of law you practice.
Sure. Primarily, I do criminal defense. I do some domestic relations, some civil litigation. My firm pretty much does everything in that aspect. There's attorneys that handle most of it. But yeah, I would say majority criminal defense, everything from speeding to murder cases. Et
Oh,
cetera.
wow.
Yeah.
Okay. So you've got a lot of stories. Are you able to, do you take that with you always? Or when you go home after work, are you able to kind of leave work at home?
I'm typically able to leave. I'm pretty good about that because otherwise, I feel like you bring that home. It's a heavy load on some of these cases, but some of the cases stick with you, and they'll stick with you for the rest of your life, and you don't forget about them, and just you wish something had happened differently, or you really helped someone out, and you've changed their life, and you see them 7 years down the road, and they're doing great, even though when you met them, they were at the lowest point of their lives, and you were able to help them get out of that lowest point. I prefer to focus on the positives and the stories of success and overcoming things, and the stories of some individuals who we're not as successful. So
yeah, that you get to be a part of changing people's lives, which is really significant work, and it's got to be very meaningful to you, and that's really cool. Not everybody gets a chance to do that, to make some folks' lives significantly better and see the redemptive stories, right?
Right.
I mean, we've all got our past and
Right. And, but for the grace of God, you represent someone on a DUI and they've never done anything wrong in their life. They had a bad day, girlfriend or boyfriend broke up with them, and they had a few drinks, drove home, got caught. And, if they get this DUI conviction, they lose their security clearance or something else. And it affects their lives forever, and some prosecutors understand that and get that, and some don't. And if not, we have to go to trial, and sometimes you win, sometimes you lose, but you do your best for your client. I mean, the number one thing is to zealously represent your client and do the best you can with the situation, the facts you have. At the end of the day, the facts are the facts, and you can try to change the narrative of the facts, but in some cases, there's not a whole heck of a lot you can do except try to get them the best outcome you can.
Yeah. So, talking about movies, there was a time when these trial movies were like all that Hollywood was pumping out, and people, in the courtroom arguing the cases. You can't handle the truth.
Right.
All these certain situations. Is that you? Are you in the courtroom battling for your client?
Yes.
Okay.
And jury trials, I sometimes do get a little thematic with some of the stuff I do. I come by it honestly. I mean, like my sister was quite the thespian and was very active in drama throughout my life. So I have a little bit of that gene. So, I can get a little thematic when in front of a jury. I remember one jury, I had them crying during my closing. 9 out of 11. So, but
well done.
Yeah, 9 out of 12, right? Yeah.
So you say you love all sports.
Mm-hmm.
How does being an athlete, how does that impact how you are an attorney? Especially
we
in
don't
the
like to
courtroom.
lose. I mean, people usually when you play sports don't like to lose. Now, I learned this coaching youth soccer for the first time this year. It's okay to lose. You got to instill in the kids like it's okay. I mean, they're 6.
Right.
Well, you guys are kind of just running around like chickens with your heads cut off. But I think it's important to focus on not just winning, but also like when you're in the courtroom and you're up against a prosecutor or you're up in a let's say domestic relations case, a custody visitation, or a protective order hearing, and you're up against another attorney. It feels good to beat the other attorney, right?
Yeah.
But at the end of the day, it's trying to get the best outcome for your client. That's what it's all about.
Yep. I know a lot of times as a coach, it's it's the players on the field, but it's also the strategy.
Right.
And it's understanding who your opponent is and what their weaknesses are and how your strengths can combat. And so, and you've got the judge, right? You've got the witnesses. Who are the other players in that scene that you're reading and you're kind of figuring out the strategy for your client?
Right. So, when it comes to criminal defense, so you initially talk with a prosecutor about the case and get their position. Sometimes it's reasonable, sometimes it isn't.
Yeah.
Then you see who the judge is that day and like, okay, all right, so I have this judge is favorable for this judge is favorable for that, this judge is unfavorable for this. Then you're like, okay, well then we'll probably continue it if the prosecutor is not being what you perceive as reasonable, because reason varies. Like what I think is reasonable for a client may actually not be reasonable based on the county, based on the Commonwealth Attorney's Office. So like, no, we don't view this crime as light as you do. So you read the room. You just know, which prosecutors are good at trying a case and which ones aren't, and you just make a decision that day. And you tell your client, like, there's risk always. There's no guarantees in this, but I'm telling you, I think the risk is worth the reward. So
I sell real estate, and it's pretty easy to get your license, right?
Right.
But then there's nuances once you are a licensed agent. Who's the other agent, that's representing maybe the lister or the buyer? What are they like? And so many nuances of selling a home, buying a home, different easements, what different things kind of move the needle, and really experience matters. And so, it's much harder to get your law degree, But at the same time, experience still matters. Those nuances of like, who are the judges? I've been before them 10 times before. I know what I'm doing here. I know what works with certain juries and what not to do. And so your experience and your firm's experience goes a long way to helping your client succeed, not just the plaque on the wall that says you graduated.
Right. And not only that, but like even picking a jury, you get asked the pool of jurors questions, and you've got to be observing the room to see not only how they answer the questions, but also facial expressions, mannerisms. Like when you're doing an opening statement, you're trying to figure out who on that jury, who's gonna be your friend, basically.
Yeah.
Like who is gonna say, "Hey, I trust this attorney over the other one"? Because at the end of the day, your client could be dead to rights. I remember a jury trial of a hypothetical client. It was actually my first one I ever had, and the jury, I'm picking them for the first time, but like I was able to just have a feel for some of them, and the hypothetical client allegedly stole diabetes test strips from Target or something like that. I forget. It was a court-appointed client. It was back when I was at Bibber Ryan Snow, and it was a not guilty. It was my first trial, so I felt pretty good about that. But they had the person on video taking the stuff, but they ended up finding not guilty. And still to this day, like I look back, that was 14 years ago, and I'm like, how did they do that? But it was all about connections. It's all about connecting with them. Like, that video. I think my argument basically was like that video didn't, make it beyond a reasonable doubt that he took these things. All you see is him grabbing something from his shelf. You don't see him walking out of the store with it. You don't see this and that. And
hypothetically,
right now, there's other jury trials where it didn't go that well. So, and it's interesting because like sometimes you're like, this case, slam dunk, the jury's going to dismiss it, and they find them guilty for something you didn't even see coming. And there's other cases I'm like, all right, we have no shot of winning this, and then you get not guilty, and you're like,
I don't know.
I don't know.
Well, we always say here, life is all about relationships, and so relationships with those jury members, is so important to getting.
It's all about the connection, right off the bat, and voir dire. The questions you ask, just the way you engage them, it all matters from like the moment they come into that courtroom.
How important is eye contact?
Big.
Yeah.
Very big.
Okay.
Yeah.
Gotta see folks that lock up with you. How does, I guess your father is Greek?
Right. My mother is not. My mother is British and Norwegian.
Okay.
So,
any influence on like Greek culture in your life?
Absolutely. In fact, so my daughter is studying ancient Greece in her third grade class at Hillside Elementary, and her teacher, Miss Walsh, was like, "Would your father? We've heard that your father's from Greece. Would he be willing to speak to the class?" So last Friday we did a little Zoom call. He did it with the class and talked about ancient Greece and mythology and all that stuff.
All right.
So I try to see. I'm half Greek, so my kids are a quarter Greek. I tried to instill that in them, and hopefully, before COVID hit, we were going to go to Greece actually that summer and take them for their first time, our whole family. I tried to, and I'm like, hey, listen, guys, the Greeks basically invented everything, Let's be proud of that culture,
Absolutely.
So,
absolutely.
And their food's delicious.
Modern thought. Yep. And beautiful coastlines.
Oh, man. Santorini's gorgeous.
Yeah. Awesome. Well, hey, not everybody's rise to fame is a straight line up. Did you have any setbacks along the way as you were kind of pursuing what you wanted as an attorney?
Setbacks. Well, so initially out of law school, it was tough to get a job. The market was terrible back in 2008, 2007. And then a good friend of mine, who was my roommate, Steve Mutnick, introduced me to Buda. Actually, I met Matt first, Judge Snow now, and they hired me. And so that was like my first step into being an attorney here, and I appreciate everything they did for me in the beginning. But I was associate there for a few years. Obviously, want to make more money and do more things, and that's why I started my own firm, Eric Demetriades, thereafter. And then after a couple of years, I was approached by Rhonda Pace and Christine Mouchambol to let's start a bigger firm, and that's how the Laurel Brigade Law Group got started.
Okay.
Setbacks, sure. 5 years ago, went through a divorce. Wasn't planned, obviously.
No.
And my kids were 1 and 3 at the time, and it was tough. It was that was a big setback, and it was right when we had started the new firm. So I would say that would be the biggest setback. But professionally, I've been very lucky. I've had a lot of support. I've a lot of great friends I've met along the way. If I've ever needed anything, my partners have always had my back. And I like to think I've always had theirs as well. So much friends and family. So honestly, besides the divorce, that was honestly the only thing that I could think of as a setback. I've been very, very fortunate. So
yeah, it sounds like you've been blessed with a lot of great gifts and a lot of great people in your life, which is huge.
It is.
So what are goals for you upcoming?
Upcoming goals.
What's next?
What's next? Jeez, I don't know. Continue. The Laurel Brigade Law Group's going to keep going. The LB Law Group.
There you go.
That's what I like to call it.
And you practice just in Loudoun?
No, I go to Fairfax occasionally. I go to Prince William occasionally. I go to Clark occasionally, but that's about it.
Yep.
I go to Arlington occasionally, but primarily I'm in Loudoun every day. So I was the Loudoun County Bar president back in 16, 15.
Way to go, man.
So yeah, it was young back then, but it was a good experience. I've been the Circuit Court Bench Bar Chair, which is like the liaison between the Loudoun County Bar Association and the Circuit Court judges.
Okay.
So I've been doing that since then. So like the last 7-8 years, I've been the bench bar chair, which has been a great experience because I get to have meetings with the judges pretty regularly. We try to do it quarterly. I meet with them, talk with them, what's their concerns, what's the concerns of the Loudoun County Bar Association, et cetera.
Okay. Cool.
So,
yeah, very cool. It sounds like you love what you do, and you look to get
do.
better at it, and even
I mean, I guess that's a goal. Always trying to get better.
Yeah.
Always trying to, learn. If you make a mistake, you learn from that mistake. You don't make the same mistake twice, right?
Yep.
That's what you can do in life.
Yep.
So
that's cool. Do you follow any like the Supreme Court, justices or DC Circuit Court law? Do you kind of geek out on that front as well?
No, not.
No?
I mean,
Okay.
I know who they are. I mean, I
Yeah.
have to read case law pretty regularly. But no, I don't. No, I don't like.
Okay. Keep it local.
I kind of do.
Yeah,
actually.
Yeah, it's cool. All right, so you said something in sort of the intro interview. You said work to live, not live to work.
Correct.
What does that mean?
I'd rather spend time with my kids than work.
Yeah.
I'd rather spend time with my family than work. So I do what I have to do. I get my job done every single day. I take care of my clients every single day. But I'm not going to, unless I'm in a trial and I have to do like 12-hour work days or whatever, I don't do that. I try to spend time with my family as much as possible because, in my opinion, that's the most important thing. My family was always there for me growing up. They were fantastic, mother and father. They both worked. My dad is an aerospace engineer for NASA, builds rocket engines, and my mom.
Oh, cool.
My mom was the CEO of, in Florida, they privatized Child Protective Services and Department of Family Services. So she was the CEO of the county for that before she retired. So, but they were still, I always felt like they always focused on the family. They did their jobs. They were great at their jobs. But they put family first before the jobs. And I know people who are the opposite. They'd rather be workaholics and not really focus on their family, but still love their family, obviously. But like, my thing has always been my kids are my number one priority in life. So
I love that, man. I think you've got your priorities straight, in my opinion, anyway. And that's hard to do as an attorney because I know a lot of people who are working long hours, trying to make partner. Always, it's work first. And you kind of got out of that rat race a little bit by
I
starting
did. As soon as I started Eric Demetriades, that's when I started to realize I'm like, do I want to go home at 3:00 and pick up the kids early from school? Yeah, I do. I'm going to do that.
Yeah.
Are we going to go to Brewster's, get some ice cream? Sure, why not? Or are we going to go to the Zone? Or now Dave & Buster's. Go all the way to Fairfax for Dave & Buster's.
Wow. That's cool. I love that. It's good. It's good to hear that. So much is made about the hustle and just career success, but really at the end of the day, it's family success.
It is.
Yeah.
100%. And being a single dad, like, that's my thing. I mean, my girlfriend Janelle lives down in Florida, so being able to just focus on my kids is nice. And, you know, it's tough because I'm by myself, but, you know, I've made it work this long, and, work on it for as long as I need to.
Yeah, there you go. Awesome. All right, well, hey, this is the fire round, so we're coming to the end.
Okay.
These are just going to be, I'm going to give you a question. You're just going to fire off as quickly as you can. First thing that comes to your mind. And this is all about what you enjoy about living in Loudoun County.
Okay.
This is the Enjoy Loudoun podcast.
This is easy.
What do you love it? All right, here we go. Drum roll. What is your favorite restaurant?
My favorite restaurant in Loudoun?
In Loudoun. Gotta
Okay,
say
so I
Loudoun,
go Loudoun.
local. Yeah.
I'm going to have to say Smokin' Willie's.
Oh, nice.
Barbecue.
Yeah.
Delicious.
Smokin' Willie's on Percival.
Yeah.
Come on. Beautiful. Favorite place to hang out socially? Like, you're like, I want to go and meet, see folks.
So I'm walking distance to Clyde's. So, I mean, I'm seriously less than half a mile from Clyde's. But I have to walk past my ex's house to get there. So, yeah, it's always fun when your ex buys a house 3 blocks from you. But I would say probably, I like Parallel. I'm a big fan of Parallel.
Okay, I've never been there. Let me write that
Parallel
down.
wine bar. They're good.
All right, I gotta check it out.
And Oyster. I like Oyster. Like, since my office is downtown Leesburg, I would say Tuskie's, Oyster Bar, Lightfoot. Those are all places we frequent.
Yeah, those are all great. I will tell you that Clyde's, we love that Clyde's. When it first kind of came out, it definitely embraced the Loudoun scene. And it's one still that, like, when we have a special occasion, birthday, anniversary.
Right. My family comes
we'll
to
go
town,
to Clyde.
we usually go.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
It's beautiful.
Yeah.
Love
And they
that
do
place.
like the Santa brunch and Easter Bunny brunch. So
I'll get the fire going in the
Yeah.
fire, even if it's
nice.
90 degrees outside. All right, let's see. Annual event in Loudoun County that you enjoy going to.
You know what? I've always enjoyed going with my kids to the Flower Garden Festival. Like,
Oh, yeah.
downtown.
Right.
They close it down. My office is downtown, so I could just park behind my office, and my kids always think that's so cool. Like, we don't have to, like, I'm like, we'll just walk right through my building. So we'll go through my office building, walk out the front door, and we're right there, and we're at the Flower and Garden Festival.
That's
So
really cool.
That's something we've always enjoyed.
That's fun. Awesome.
And we did a 4th of July parade this year, first time. That was a lot of fun. We've done the Halloween parade in the past, but I would say Flower and Garden's my favorite annual event.
Yeah. It brings a lot of people out to downtown.
Yeah.
It's fun.
Oh, it's insane. Yeah.
Shopping. If you're not shopping on the internet and you're
Right.
shopping in Loudoun County, are there places you like to go?
For shopping, yes. Well, it depends what I'm shopping for. So if I'm looking for delectable treats, I'd probably go to Mocatina's downtown. They recently opened. The owners are fantastic. Clothes shopping, obviously the outlets, I guess, or Dulles Town. Well, yeah, Dulles Town Center still has shops in it. So
It does.
It
yeah.
does.
Yeah.
So I was just there the other weekend with the kids, walking around. But I would say probably for shopping, downtown's got a lot of great stores too. But yeah, I would say probably the outlets would be the biggest for shopping.
It's hot. It's hot out there. All right. Outdoor activity.
Outdoor activity.
Favorite outdoor activity?
Bear chase is wonderful.
That's an outdoor activity. Yeah. I walk around. Out there.
Walk around. I haven't done the Bear Den hike. I heard that's a lot of fun. Outdoor activities. I go on walks with my kids and the dogs. They take their scooters or their bikes or runs, and we take Samantha out and walk around Broadlands. Broadlands is beautiful. The trails there are fantastic.
Yep.
Tons of tot lots along the way. There's a pond that we always like to feed the fish and the geese at. So
Perfect.
It's nice. Yeah.
Yep. Awesome. I would definitely do the Bears Den hike. If your kids are the age they can do it. It's a pretty quick,
Nice.
45 minutes up and
That's it.
30 minutes
Nice.
down. Yeah, it's simple. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, when it gets warmer, we'll do that.
Definitely do that. All right. Where have you not been that you wanted to go? whether it's a
In
restaurant.
Loudoun County?
Yeah. Somewhere that someone's like, oh, that's new. I just haven't been there yet. Or, I mean, you could say the Bears Den hike. I wanted to do that. I haven't done that yet.
Well, but that would be repetitive, right? So I
Yeah.
got to come up with something new. Heard of, have not done, but want to do. It's funny I have to think about this because we do a lot, of stuff, especially.
Well, that's okay. If you don't have anything, that's fine too. Have you ever been to Oktoberfest in Lovettsville?
Yes, I have.
Oh, shoot. Okay.
And that was awesome.
That was
By the
fun,
way.
right?
It was a ton of fun. Yes.
Okay.
Yeah. I
What
remember I
about-
ran into the clerk of the courts, Gary Clemens there.
Yes.
Oh, Gary. He was there.
We need to get Gary on the show.
Oh, he'll do now. Heartbeat.
He'll do it in a heartbeat. Yeah.
Oh, absolutely.
Good dude. All right. Well, hey, if you're watching this, and you can make a comment of maybe your favorite annual activity or restaurant that he needs to try. We'll make it a community effort.
I'm in. I'm
He's
all
in. He's
I'm
all
all
in.
for suggestions. I mean, I eat out regularly, so.
All right. Well, hey, where can people find you? Socials. How can
So,
they reach out?
LaurelBrigadeLawGroup.com is our website for our law firm. On social media, I'm Loudoun Lawyer. Got that handle a long time ago.
It's a nice one. Lots
That's
it up.
People are like, "Oh wow, you're aggressive there with Loudoun Lawyer is your Instagram handle." I'm like, well, honestly, when I did it 10 years ago, I didn't think it was. I look at it now, I'm like, oh, that is kind of
Forward thinking. You're an early
forward-thinking,
adopter.
right? I guess, yeah.
Awesome.
Facebook, Laurel Brigade Law Group. Yeah, we're easy to find, and we're a good group. We do a lot for Loudoun County. Like I said, some of my partners have been practicing here for over 40 years in Loudoun County. We have our ties to Loudoun County. We all live in Loudoun County, except for Tom Solden. He doesn't. But
Hey, man, this has been awesome. So great to meet you.
Ryan, it was nice to meet you too. Man.
Absolutely. Coach D, keep doing what you do, protecting folks, and loving your family. I think you're doing awesome work, and that leads to a full life. So,
Well, thanks,
it's
man. I
awesome.
appreciate it, Coach.
Definitely.
See?
Coach C. All right, guys. Thank you so much for watching. Until next time, enjoy Loud.